Welcome to Gamescom.
Fantastic. Game trailers all access.
You play as a character called Jason Brody. Now his boat's been destroyed, his girlfriend's been kidnapped, and everybody's now running into on the island is they're quite off color, definitely. And you find yourself in this situation where you're kind of a bit out your depth. You sort of think that you're going to be able to take it on, and then realize pretty quickly that there's some pretty insane stuff going on here. It's a different island from the one that we saw in Far Cry 1, but again, just the feel, that tropical feel, that lushness, it's a really good juxtaposition between that and the kind of the really gruesome, gritty action that you're seeing on the island. Jesus. Far Cry, as essence, is a shooter, and so we really want to make sure that we come up with this really fully featured shooter experience. You're going to see a lot about the way that the characters realized, some really intense action, some really good gunplay and that kind of stuff. Coupled with that, obviously, a very fully featured open world environment. We want players to be going off, and yes, there's a mission structure that they can follow, but as well, we want to pique their curiosity. We want them to kind of feel that they can just get off the beaten track and go and find things. So you see in the demo, there's like a temple there, there's a waterfall. These are the kind of things we're going to sprinkle around the place to really give you a feel that there's a real living environment around you that you can go and interact with and explore whenever you want to. The rule that we have, the rule of thumb when we're doing the development, is that basically if you can see there, you can get there. So you see the mountains off in the distance in the vista shot at the beginning. If you trek all the way over there, you can go and climb that mountain and look back and see where you've come from. It's one of the things that we're sort of a little bit careful about talking about is actual kind of like footprint of the island and stuff. We like to talk a lot more about the kind of the density of the experience, so that as you're driving around the place, you're really feeling like there's stuff going on, and there's a living place. It's not something that's, it's not something that's dead, that's inert. There's things going on around you the whole time, and you're never going to be quite sure about what you're going to come across. A lot of the world before has been sort of quite hostile, whereas now we want to introduce a little bit of a concept of, you're not quite sure about how things are going to go. Is it going to be hostile or not? You have to go and investigate and find out, interact with people and work out, okay, how's this going to play out? I think this is one of the things that we want to get here. One of the differences is that you're really going to be like a man alone out there. You're going to be on your own, kind of faced with all these characters. And like I say, you're never going to be quite sure about how people are going to react to you. Sometimes people are going to come across as kind of normal people. You're like, oh, this is great. I should go and hang out with this guy a little bit more. And then pretty quickly you realize, okay, there's something pretty wrong with this. Other guys are going to be more like Vaz, the guy you see in the demo. They're going to be really, really in your face crazy right from the get-go. And you're going to know that these are really crazy people that you don't want to get involved with.
Okay, fuck you!
Are you guys introducing any unique mechanisms to the game? I know with 2 we had the malaria. Anything like that for 3?
I mean, there are things that kind of went down pretty well from Far Cry 2. There are other things that maybe we've decided to kind of move away from and create our own stuff there. I mean, I think the most important thing about the way that you interact with the game is that you're making the choices about how you do interact. You're deciding if you want to go for more of a stealth approach. You can see some of the takedown stuff that we've got in there. That's a much more visceral, much more kind of human scale of events that's going on. I mean, that human scale stuff is going to permeate everything, right the way through the narrative, right the way through to the gameplay itself. The takedowns you see, the way you can kind of drag guys around, use the weapons that you've taken from them to take other guys down. That kind of real visceral stuff, that's the sort of the new things that you're going to be feeling in the game. There'll be a strong narrative theme that we want to run through the game. And that's something that you can really choose to follow, and it'll be, with a lot of the character development that we've got in the game, and a lot of the acting performances that we're seeing in there, that's something that's very, very important to us. So from that perspective, there'll be that main central thread that you'll follow through, and at the moment it'll be one thread. But coupled with all of that, then there's this huge living environment that's around. It's not like these are just going to be things that you run across, but it's going to really feel like the place is alive.
Jesus.
So besides the open-endedness, of course, of Far Cry, what do you think people are going to be surprised by with this new 3rd installment?
Again, to come back to the characters, I think this is the strength that you get here from the performance from Vaz. It really feels like he's talking to you. And we want people to really feel like they're in Jason's shoes when they're going through these kind of experiences. And that they're meeting these really, really strong, crazy characters and making you think a little bit about, okay, so how would I react in this situation? I've got this guy who's obviously totally unhinged in my face. How am I going to deal with this? How am I going to get myself out of these situations? Being thrown into wells with rocks tied to your feet. These are the kind of challenges we're going to be presenting the player with during the game. We're going to be coming in 2012 on Xbox 360, PS3 and PC. We're really excited about showing you more coming up over the next few months and stuff, so stay tuned.